Hey, what's up, Bros? Welcome back to a new video on this channel. So in today's video, guys, we are going to be talking about this new Easter update. Now, I've heard a lot of people saying that this update wasn't that good compared to the ones that we've had in previous years, and today I'm going to be discussing that. So honestly, my personal opinion on it was that this update wasn't anything really special, especially comparing to the previous Easter events that we've had in the past, and it didn't really have anything that unique to it. And even though it definitely wasn't a horrible event, it just wasn't that great just because of its unoriginality. And also some other complaints that I have with it, which I will be going through in this video. So the first thing that I'm going to go through is the reskinned vehicle that we got. So last year in the Easter event, we actually got this vehicle, which we never actually got a vehicle before from an Easter event. So this is a really cool thing to see. And it was also a really unique thing. And even though it's not really a car that people would typically drive around in, it was still something cool and exciting. And this left a lot of people very, very hyped for the next year's Easter event car, which was the one that we got this year. However, as you guys probably know, what we instead got this year was a pretty lazy remodel of the last year's Easter event car. Now, yes, it is a different vehicle. However, as you guys can tell, it is basically the exact same sort of idea as the one last year. So first of all, the stripes are literally the exact same. They're just recolored. And then we also have the little truck part with the egg on the back as well, just like last year's. Only difference being is that this year we got a Volkswagen Beetle instead of a Mini Cooper. Personally, I feel like the model that we got last year as well in general was just a lot better looking. So that was the first complaint that I had with this, but it wasn't that big of a complaint, to be honest, because I mean, even though yeah, they definitely could have done better with this, it's not really that big of a deal. But then the huge thing that a lot of people complained about with this update was the fact that there were literally no new cars apart from the limited car that you got from finishing the event. And this was honestly some huge stuff, because I don't think we've ever gotten a Greenville update where we haven't gotten new cars. So the fact that we didn't get anything new was honestly really, really disappointing. And then on top of that, we didn't get anything else as well. We only got the Easter event itself. And I mean, I would have probably been fine with like nothing else coming out, but the fact that we didn't get any cars or anything, which is why a lot of people like Greenville updates, it was really kind of just confusing to me that they skipped out on such a huge thing. Then the next complaint was basically a copy and pasted event. Now, even though this year's event was slightly different to the previous years, and the fact that you had to collect cars now instead of eggs or parts, once again, it was a pretty similar event to what we've had in the past. They basically just changed the things that we had to find. So for example, in the original one, we had to find eggs. Then in the second one, we had to find parts to a vehicle, which I thought was a pretty cool premise, since, you know, it was almost like you were building up the car over time to receive it. But then this year, you were literally just finding different cars and just bringing them back to the bunny, which made no sense whatsoever. And then you would just get some random car in return, basically, which, yeah, it just didn't make much sense in my opinion, because at least last year especially, it sort of made sense on like what you were doing and whatnot. With this year, there wasn't much context behind it, or at least context that made a lot of sense, if you guys know what I mean. And even though I know that this is an Easter event, so there's not much really things that Greenville can do for the event, at least when it comes to ideas, I feel like there could have been something like a bit more interesting, I guess, or at least something that made a bit more sense. And then the last complaint that I have is the delayed update. Now, even though Greenville is no stranger to having delayed updates, usually it's not so much of an issue, as we do usually get bigger updates to compensate for that. And even though this time around the delay wasn't too huge, it was only by like maybe a week or so, I'm pretty sure, almost everyone expected us to at least get some sort of, you know, well-rounded update considering that delay. For example, having new vehicles and whatnot on top of the event. However, considering that we literally only got this event, that was pretty similar to the ones that we had last year, and then that we also got this car that was also pretty similar to the one that we got last year, with no new vehicles or anything like that. It was pretty disappointing to see, to be honest. Now, even though I have no doubt that, you know, this wasn't probably the plan, and there would have probably been something that was like, you know, causing Greenville to delay it and then come out with an update that only had the event and nothing else really, it just wasn't the best overall in my opinion. Now, obviously, I don't want you guys to go hate on the devs or anything like that, as you know, it's pretty impossible to keep up a high standard all the time. This is probably one of the rare times in my opinion where Greenville, you know, hasn't really done that much of an amazing job. But I mean, I'm honestly gonna thank Greenville here though, as they have kept up with their schedule quite well recently, which I mean is an amazing thing to see from them. However, I'm sure most people would agree in the fact that having cars in an update is pretty crucial, to be honest, especially in a game like this. And I mean, even though the event itself wasn't bad, in my opinion, and in many others, it could have been a lot better than it was. But tell me what you guys think about this in the comments below, because I'm open to hear all your guys' opinions. And once again, no hate to the devs, I'm just simply giving my opinion, and also the rest of the community's opinions as well on this situation, and also just reflecting on things that others have told me as well, and on their opinions. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.